Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 World Aquatic Animal Day. We are very excited to have you here with us today, albeit virtually. We have a full day of events lined up, but before we get started, we wanted to give a brief introduction to ourselves, to World Aquatic Animal Day, and of course, our very important guests of honor, aquatic animals. I'm Amy P. Wilson, and I'm the Fellow of the Aquatic Animal Law Initiative and assist with the Animal Law Clinic at Lewis & Clark Law School. I'm the originator of World Aquatic Animal Day and am thrilled at the interest and support for this event.
And I'm Professor Kathy Hessler. I'm the director of the Animal Law Clinic and of the Aquatic Animal Law Initiative. And I'm also delighted to welcome you to our day.
So what is World Aquatic Animal Day? Well, it's an annual event on April 3rd dedicated to aquatic animals. It was launched for the first time last year, 2020, and is a project of the Aquatic Animal Law Initiative, or AALI, and the Animal Law Clinic at the Center for Animal Law Studies. We are based at Lewis & Clark Law School in the beautiful Portland, Oregon. Our goal is ultimately to raise awareness about these often forgotten non-human animals. They play critical roles in our societies and ecosystems, but they are not important only because of these roles. They are valuable and exciting individuals with intrinsic worth. We believe that there is an urgent need to give aquatic animals the proper consideration that they deserve. They face immense challenges and threats, and in order for their and our own survival, we must consider how we affect them. And this is why our focus and theme for this year is the impact of our human activities on aquatic animals. While we may be aware that Homo sapiens have a major impact on the earth and other non-human animals, people may not be aware of the massive and devastating scale of these. Today, we hope to highlight some of these and call for action and change. We aim to educate people, connect people together, and ignite a passion to protect these animals going forward.
We are hosting today from Portland, Oregon, and believe that it's important to acknowledge the ancestors of this place, to recognize that we're here because of the sacrifices forced upon them. At Lewis & Clark, we honor the indigenous people on whose traditional and ancestral homelands we stand, including the Multnomah, Cathlamet, Clackamas, Tumwater, Watlala bands of the Chinook, the Tualatin Kalapuya, and many other indigenous nations of the Columbia River. We honor their legacy, their lives, and their descendants. We also know that land acknowledgements can be fraught, but we feel they're important to note. And we believe that there is much we can learn about respectful relationships with animals and the planet from these historical and present day communities.
So we have a fantastic schedule today with a number of panels that cover a lot of different ground, or rather water. All of the times you see on the slide there are in Pacific, and most of the sessions are around 50 minutes. Please don't forget to register on the website to get the Zoom webinar link. All of the sessions will be recorded and will be available at a later date. So kicking off at 9 a.m., we have Dr. Becca Franks telling us about the harms we inflict on fish, what they reveal about our misconceptions of the natural world, and how correcting these biases can save us all. Following her, we have an interview with Julian Matthews discussing protecting aquatic animals, their habitats, and treaty rights. At 11 a.m., we are joined by Kasia Patel, highlighting opportunities for action relating to plastic pollution and marine life. For our lunchtime session, we ask you all to dive into action for our virtual action hour hosted by Chelsea V. Davis, Veggies Do It Better, ARC PDX, and LCALDF. This session is on a different link. It will be in a Zoom meeting format, so please check out the website for that link. Then after lunch at 1 p.m., we have Dr. Naomi Rose, leading a call for responsibility relating to whale watching. Keeping with the whale theme, Dr. Laurie Marino will be discussing her work on the Whale Sanctuary Project, creating a new future for captive cetaceans at 2 p.m. Then our final Zoom webinar session, we will have our very own students, Mary Hoffman, Caitlin Skirky, and Jackson Moffat, exploring some of the legal and regulatory aspects relating to aquatic animals and asking whether the law keeps us at bay. This panel will conclude the webinars for the day, and after a short break, our final activity will be a Netflix watch party of the recently released and groundbreaking documentary, Seaspiracy, hosted by community partners Chelsea V. Davis, Veggies Do It Better, ARC PDX, and Orca. So for all of that on the schedule and all other information for the day, please check out our website, www.worldaquaticanimalday.org. We encourage you to look at some of the other resources we have on there, including the resource packet that's been put together by our wonderful students, volunteers, and staff at the Animal Law Clinic, highlighting our impacts on aquatic animals and various other information. Our 10 ways to get involved document provides useful tips on how to take action for aquatic animals. And then we also have an action pack with further actions that will be discussed during our virtual action hour, and you can even take some of them afterwards. And we will be posting throughout the day on our Facebook event page, or you can search for it, World Aquatic Animal Day, or go through the Center for Animal Law Studies Facebook page. So no matter how or where you choose to participate, please share our hashtag World Aquatic Animal Day, and that way we can track how many people are getting involved and who's willing to speak up for aquatic animals. So please share it, and let's make these invisible victims more visible.
So we want to talk about aquatic animals. That's what this day is all about. In thinking about who they are, we think it's important to actually ask that question explicitly, because we don't have time to talk about all of the issues and all of the animals just in this day. So we want to give you an overview. We want you to understand, because we have to remind ourselves even how many animals are involved when we're talking about aquatic animals. So this list that you see on the left-hand side of your screen: amphibians, crustaceans, finfish, marine mammals, mollusks, cephalopods, reptiles, echinoderms, cnidaria, porifera, water birds, aquatic insects, and there are even more. So we need to remind ourselves that all of these animals are aquatic animals. And partly the problem is that we don't see them, we don't know them, and therefore we don't understand them and know how to protect them. So we think they matter. We think these animals are important. We think that it's important for them to have protections for themselves, for their own sake, so they can live natural lives. We think it's important to protect them for species survival and for the benefit of the environment of which these animals are part. So the ecosystems are not the same without these animals, and some of them will collapse without them. And for us, so that we can understand them, we can benefit and enjoy from seeing them in their natural environments, and we can have a more rich and diverse planet.
Great, and I think many people are aware of some of the more common ways we utilize and define aquatic animals, such as food or even the goldfish in your home. But there are a number of other ways that people tend to think about a bit less. And why we use them and their definition is important because it determines how they are treated by our society and our legal system. So aquatic animals as food are often excluded from anti-cruelty laws, and sometimes because they are not even included in the definition of animal, or sometimes by their use. So a goldfish might receive protection as a pet, but the same protection isn't offered to a fish or another animal that's used for food. And we also offer more kind of charismatic animals such as dolphins or whales compared to crabs or shrimps, more protection. Then also endangered species and threatened species receive more protection than those who are not. And aquatic animals who are considered to be pests are usually killed without thought. Some who are used in research and testing may have to suffer through horrible experiments. So you really start to see these uses and definitions affecting them, whether they are beauty products like pearl earrings or alligators or handbags. Some are used for entertainment at zoos and aquaria. And then perhaps the surprising way that many people don't think about is as work animals, such as dolphins in the Navy. The list of our uses is really almost endless, and it's increasing all the time. And on the slide, you can just see some of these ways, which is by no means a complete list.
And this is why the Aquatic Animal Law Initiative was formed. As we were doing work in the Animal Law Clinic, we were looking for information and research about these animals so that we could better understand them, better serve and protect them, and better integrate work in thinking about animals that would include aquatic animals when we were thinking about factory farming, when we were thinking about animals in research, making sure that we were always including aquatic animals as well. There wasn't a lot of research out there, there wasn't a lot of information, and there wasn't a lot of advocacy on their behalf. So we decided we needed to start that. So in 2016, we started the Aquatic Animal Law Initiative. We believe that it's important to have done this work because these animals, as we've said, are misunderstood, they're ignored, unseen, and underrepresented. And they're certainly not protected in law or by policy or generally by society. We see them mostly treated as a means to other ends. They're abused, they're exploited, and they're used for human interests. They're the largest number of non-human animals impacted on the planet other than insects. But they're sentient. They experience pain and pleasure. They have other capacities that we think need to be recognized. And we think that the animals in general need to be valued, respected, and protected from harm.
Great. And how do we do this? Well, we work to protect and promote the interests of aquatic animals by advocating on their behalf through the legal system, promoting their value to the public by providing education about their cognitive, emotional, and physiological capacities, and finally through harmonizing human, animal, and environmental interests. Great. So with all of that said, let's dive into our very exciting day with our first session beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you.
And before that, let me just do a quick thank you to our speakers, to our students and volunteers, to our community partners, our student groups, to the folks at the Center for Animal Law Studies for their support, for all the people at Lewis and Clark who have helped us, to the participating organizations and individuals, the other organizations, scientists and professionals working, and all of you who are participating and watching this event today or participating on another day. Thank you very much. Thank you and enjoy the day.